Welcome back to the Daily Drum on WHUR and Sirius XM Channel 141. This is the Inside segment. I'm Harold Fisher. Tonight, we're talking about the life-changing power of mentoring. The Big Brothers Big Sisters of the National Capital Area is celebrating 76 years of service and commitment to youth. And the facts are very clear. Young people with mentors are less likely to end up in the juvenile justice system. They are more likely to achieve higher grades and have brighter futures. We are taking an in-depth look at the impact and the challenges and the continued importance of guiding the next generation. My guests are Kent Sneed, Vice President of Mission Partnerships at Big Brothers Big Sisters of the National Capital Area, and Cedric Bridgewater, a former Big Brother of the Year. Thank you both so much for joining this conversation. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure.
So first of all, let me share a few facts about mentoring. Young people with a mentor are 55% more likely to enroll in college. Students with mentors are more likely to earn higher grades and complete assignments on time. Mentored youth are 46% less likely to use drugs and 27% less likely to drink alcohol. Having a mentor boosts self-esteem, helps young people believe in their ability to succeed, and youth and mentoring programs are more likely to develop positive friendships and have stronger family connections. I first want to ask Cedric about this. What is it that inspired you to become a mentor, a big brother? Why did you do that?
Yes, there were actually a couple things. One, growing up, I thought that was very critical in my upbringing and just having and being able to see positive influences amongst the many negatives. But also the second one and the more, I guess, current one at the time was my wife. She was a big sister in the program, and she was a big sister for roughly 15 years at that point. And yeah, like 10 to 15 years at that point. And that opened my eyes to just understanding the guidance that's needed, understanding the relationships that's needed. And that encouraged me and inspired me to want to, I guess, provide that guidance as well, and be able to create a path or create exposure to things that I was not exposed to as a kid.
So you've already started off the conversation in the right way because you're a man who listens to his wife. So already you're batting 1,000. But you mentioned something I think that was so important when you spoke about your upbringing and what you did not receive. Talk to me about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Just basically where I grew up, there was not a lot of entrepreneurs. There were not a lot of, you didn't see business owners. You didn't see or successful businesses or bigger businesses. You didn't see different sports like it was the typical basketball, football sports. It was it was crime ridden. So, that's kind of like naturally you become your environment, I guess you can say. So, that's kind of the area that I grew up in.
But with that said, if you know the saying, you can't be it unless you see it. So if you didn't see it, how were you able to be it?
My parents, I would say, really instilled a lot of values and morals in me. And also, they had a very strong hold on me and making sure I stayed out of trouble as much as they could. So just by proximity and being away from a lot of the negative things that I saw happening, I had the opportunity to see positive and things of that nature. So, grew up with both my mom and dad in home. So that I think that was very critical as well for me.
Kent, it's interesting when you listen to the bit of the story that Cedric shared. As you know, a lot of young people, boys or girls, do not have the advantage often of having both parents in a stable home, which kind of drives the the narrative relative to the importance of mentors. What does it mean from your perspective to really be a mentor? Why do you think that they are important beyond the numbers that I mentioned?
Well, that's a great question, Harold. I think the importance of mentorship really can tie back to relationships and really understanding the power of relationships and kind of what that type of influence can have on a young person. And as you mentioned, there are youth that come from different communities, are dealing with different challenges in their life there as well. And being a mentor is a great opportunity not only to give back but also to provide guidance and some stability in a young person's life. Mentors don't have to be perfect. There is, they come in all different shapes and sizes there, but, to be able to be an adult and to be able to provide some guidance and just a friendly ear for a young person as they're going through and they're growing up through their years there as well is a tremendous benefit for not only the young person, but also for the adult mentor. There's a lot that you can get from giving back to a child and helping them as they progress through life there and kind of being that positive role model for them as well. And so, mentorship plays an important role, not only for our young people, but also for our adults that do give back so generously with their time.
You said that the mentors often get a lot out of the relationship. Give me an example.
Well, I think you're looking at one on the screen right now is Cedric there. But I think that our mentors have different backgrounds. Some of them have young children, some of them are empty nesters, and some of them don't have kids at all. And so we really run a gamut between of kind of type of mentors that we recruit from age range and different backgrounds and interests and whatnot as well. And so for us, I think that mentorship provides a lot for our mentors. I think it does provide them opportunity to give back and to really spend some time and energy on a young person and to establish that bond and to essentially watch this young person grow and blossom, over the years and with their influence there as well. And what we see with a lot of our mentors is that they're not just, have the relationship, that bond with the youth, they have it with the entire family. It's a family affair, right? And because, the great thing about our program is that, we like our parents to be involved. We like them to be engaged there as well, just so that the mentor and the parent are on the same page. And so, some of these relationships can last a lifetime. And we see that with a lot of our matches in our program.
Cedric, outside of taking the wizened recommendation of your wife, when you first became a big brother, talk to me about what you were thinking going in. How did that work? How did you select the mentee? Or the little brother, as it were, or did they select you? Give me the rundown of how it worked.
Yeah, so for me going into that process, I was very skeptical. I kind of questioned whether or not I had the ability and the tools to be able to kind of help and guide a teen at the time, actually. So it was just more of like, can I do this? Am I able to do this? How will I help or will I harm? Will I be able to provide the guidance to kind of keep them going straight, going in a different direction, or will I enable or, those types of things. So going into that process, my wife just kind of encouraged me to do it. She saw something in me for it. So, I pursued it. Going into the process, big brother, big sister, they perform thorough background checks. So you go through the process of just making sure that legally, everything works out fine. Once you go through that process, then they go through and kind of get your interests, things that you would prefer, or your personality types and things of that nature, to make sure that not only are they fitting you with matching you with a kid that is similar, but also just making sure that there's some type of chemistry there. So they're just not matching you randomly, but making sure that it's a good fit for both you and the mentee or the little brother. And from there, one thing I can say about Big Brother, Big Sister is that they thoroughly make sure that you are equipped and prepare you for that. They set their expectations up front, and it's not really much ambiguity or vagueness there when you going into that process. So I really appreciated that, and from day one, I always felt like I had the support annually, or I'm pretty sure it's annually. They do a checkup to just kind of see how things are going with you and your mentor, answer any questions, see where you need support, things like that. So it was a great opportunity, and it's been fulfilling ever since.
So how does, again, I would imagine, how did that work? Did you meet with the parent or parents? What were those conversations? What were those first conversations like? And as much as you can, tell us about your first little brother.
Yeah, so initially it's kind of a meet and greet. You sit down with the potential mentee, and at that time it was his mom. So I came in, we sat down, and it was also our program specialist, I believe it is, Kent.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of was the mediator. They kind of orchestrated the conversation and asked questions. They were familiar with both myself and the potential mentees. So just kind of generate a conversation, have some icebreakers, ask questions, and just kind of open the floor for us to be able to communicate and get to know each other. From there, we had time to go home and decide, okay, do I want to join this family? The family had opportunity to go home and say, do we want him as our mentor? And then they followed up, I believe, like a day or two later to just confirm that we wanted to move forward with the match.
I mean, did you meet at your home, their home, at lunch, at dinner, basketball?
Yes. So we met at the Big Brother Big Sister office in downtown DC.
Kent, one of the things that I have heard in the many years that I've been doing this program, and we particularly hear this from mothers and mothers of sons and some single fathers of daughters, but mostly from mothers of sons, help. Yeah. H-E-L-P. Talk to me about the need specifically for boys and the mothers of those sons.
Yeah, that's a great question here, and we get it a lot. A lot of times the person that's reaching out to is a parent or guardian that have maybe witnessed or maybe concerned about the behavior of their child and want to try to mitigate that and try to get ahead of that and using our program to do that there. And so for us, there's a tremendous need. We see that all the time there. We have a wait list currently in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, and primarily young boys that are looking for mentorship there as well. And so the need for male mentors is there, not just here in our region, but across the country. Another plug, the need for men of color to be mentors is also there. Primarily the youth that we serve here in the region are Black males. And we need and we want mentors that look like them, that have some shared experiences. I think that's big. Not to say anything about mentors who don't have that there, but there's something to be said about having a mentor that looks like you, that maybe can relate to you on some of these challenges that they may be experiencing there as well. And so a big need for us is to really impact and get to that wait list and try to match these young boys that are waiting to be matched here.
Kent, before I take a break, you've got a gala coming up celebrating the 76 years. Talk to me about the gala, when it is, where it is, and how people can get more information about it.
Yeah, so we have what we call our big celebration gala that we host annually at Nationals Park. And so we're excited to bring it back again this year. We are hosting at Nationals Park on Wednesday, November 5th. where we are honoring a special achievement in business and philanthropy honoree, a gentleman by the name of Mr. Patrick Cofield. He is the co-founder of Coakley and Williams Construction, used to be a previous board chair of our organization, and has been a fantastic philanthropic individual in the region for decades there. In addition to that, we're also honoring a Big Brother of the Year and a Big Sister of the Year. So a Big Sister of the Year is Dr. Brittany Haynes, who has been a mentor since 2015. And our Big Brother of the Year is Jay Glazer, who is also been a mentor in our program for many years. And the great thing about both of those is that they are actually matched in the same family. So the siblings, both of them, their big brother and their big sister are being awarded this year as well. And so we're really excited to host and to celebrate mentorship on November 5th at National Stadium. And if folks are interested in supporting or attending, they can check out our website at bbbsnca.org. And they can go to the events tab and check us out. And we would love to see you there.
Thank you so much for that. We have so much more to talk about when it comes to Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We're going to take a deeper dive after the break. The Original Quiet Storm with Raheem Devon is next. That's on WHUR-FM. This conversation continues on Sirius XM channel 141 and 96.3 HD2 in just a few seconds. Welcome back to the Daily Drum on Sirius XM channel 141. I'm Harold Fisher. Tonight, we are talking about Big Brothers and Big Sisters and the power of mentoring. My guests are Kent Sneed, Vice President of Mission Partnerships at Big Brothers, Big Sisters of the National Capital Area, and Cedric Bridgewater, former Big Brother of the Year. I'm thinking about the title, Cedric. How does one become a Big Brother of the Year? I mean, what do you believe? And maybe this isn't a question for you, but I'll ask you anyway, and then I'll ask Kent as well. What do you believe it is about you that stood head and shoulders above the other Big Brothers?
I don't necessarily think it's more about something about me over the other Big Brothers. I just think that just when opportunity presents, I think we all stand up and we all show up. And, I just appreciate it was an honor and a privilege to be recognized as a Big Brother of the Year. But I think we all do a great job of just showing up and just staying consistent with our mentee. I think that, and I've developed tons of relationships throughout the program of other mentors. So when I first started, I had my own mentors in the program of just like, hey, what's going on? How should I, maneuver through these challenges and, this and that. So, I went from asking those questions to answering those questions for other mentors. But I think that overall it's just an opportunity to just recognize someone just for showing up.
You're being modest, I'm sure, and which is why I said I shouldn't ask you. I should ask Kent. So, Kent, what makes Cedric so special?
He kind of alluded to it, but I'll take it home here. Consistency. Cedric is extremely consistent with his overall approach towards his match, and you look at kind of that commitment, the other side of the coin there as well. There is, as an organization, we try to put on events, we try to, have activities in the communities for our matches to participate in. And every single event that we have, you'll see Cedric there. You'll see him there with his match. He tries his best to be as active as possible, be as responsive as possible there as well. Requests like this to come on here and to talk about the power of mentorship in our region, and him making the availability there as well. And so for us, Cedric has been extremely consistent and extremely dedicated in his commitment to serve and to give back. And he does so with enthusiasm and authenticity that you really can find around our program there as well. And so we were honored to honor Cedric in the past for his commitments, and also just to lead by example, which he does every day in his match there as well. So Cedric has been fantastic, and he exuberates all those characteristics that really make him a great mentor in our program.
But is consistency difficult for some of the big brothers? I mean, people, even those who are enthusiastic and want to serve and help make the community around the little brothers and little sisters better, but people are busy.
Yeah, people are busy, and that is a challenge, maybe the biggest challenge we have in recruiting mentors, because for us, you to your listeners, you laid out all the benefits of our program, all the great stats there. But a lot of that takes time, right? It takes time to see those results there. And so, we ask our mentors and our mentees to commit 1 year, at least 1 year to be in that match there. And so, it is a big ask, but we try to do our best and letting people know kind of the time commitment up front and what we're asking folks to do. We ask you guys to commit once, 1 year. We're asking them to, commit 4 to 8 hours per month, talking to their mentee, weekly there as well. So there is a time commitment there. There really is there as well. And it is a challenge. The consistency part is a challenge there. This is a busy area. As you mentioned there, traffic is terrible. So, everything that we do takes time in this area to kind of go to and from places and attend events there. And so it is a uphill battle for us there. But this kind of speaks to the great community of mentors that we do have. We have mentors that they have children of their own, and they are somehow managing to find time to give back and to really, put their time and energy into a young person as well. And so, it is an uphill battle, but we definitely do have, and we see it every day, of mentors rise to the occasion to meet that.
So, Cedric, how do you balance with not only the mentee, but also with the family? How do you balance the mentor with fatherhood duties? I would imagine, particularly let's say a Black boy who may not have a father figure in his life, to really kind of figure out, for lack of a better term, what's going on with you? What is your responsibility to me as a, I don't know, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old? Lord knows I remember what I was like when I was 14. I was not as eloquent or well behaved as I am now. And my dad was always around. And so how do you deal with that issue?
I think that Big Brother Big Sisters, they do a great job of matching you with someone that has the same interests. For example, one of the things that I enjoy doing is playing basketball with my mentees. So even if we're just going to the basketball court and just shooting around a little bit, talking about the week and anything they may need help with, anything that's been on their mind, any challenges, any good times that they've enjoyed, just talking about those things. So something as simple as that, or maybe even going to a library and just reading, but just having those values aligned and those interests aligned makes it really helpful to kind of join the two worlds into one. So I think that really helps as well.
How many mentees have you had in the program?
2.
What were their ages?
I mentor one from 10 to roughly 14. His mom relocated, so he's no longer in the program, so I unofficially still mentor him because he still needs that guidance. And my new mentee, he's now 15, but I've been mentoring him since he was 14.
And I guess having spoken to other parents in need, they are often the ones who are crying out for this kind of support. It's not the children. And so it goes back to the question, even if they don't say it out loud, and I'm sure some of them do, but I'm sure that some of these young people may say, well, who are you? I didn't ask you to show up. How do so how do you establish that kind of bond when it is not the child that is asking for the help?
Yeah, typically, thankfully, I've never been faced with that question. But for the most part, I do see the surprise on their faces when they realize that you are sacrificing your time to be there for them. My mentee has, we talked like maybe a couple of weeks after we got matched, and he was just like, "Wait, you don't get paid to come here? You don't get paid to do this?" And I'm just like, "No, like I'm choosing to do this." And it was a sense of appreciation and a sense of understanding the perspective, a perspective shift for him. And I think that because he's such a great kid, which there are a lot of great kids in the program, I think they appreciate that versus like seeing it as someone to like try to take over or anything like that.
Same question, Kev, because I'm sure that this is an issue that you and the mentors have encountered.
Yeah. It's part of the reason why we ask for that 1-year commitment, because there is a phase of kind of getting to know each other. We have on our team our match support specialists that are really trained to kind of help facilitate that dialogue and kind of help develop that relationship. And so we do give our mentors tools on, the building relationships and building trust with their mentees. And it takes time to do that there as well. Typically, you do see a little bit of that. I don't know how many 9-year-olds are screaming, I want to have a mentor, right? The parent is kind of leading that there as well, which is why we take our time and making sure that, as Cedric alluded to, there's a personality assessment, an interest survey. So we're trying our best to find that match that will spark that curiosity, will spark that interest, and kind of have that youth kind of let their guard down over time as they're getting to know this person who's just, there to support them in their development over time there as well. And so, for us, we take a lot of pride in the match process because, locally, we average about 30 months per match, which is fantastic. The national average is right around 18 months here. So we're seeing about a 12-month difference in our match retention length because we are taking that time to be very intentional about making, quality matches that we think are going to last.
So Kent, what do you say to the mentors once they've developed a really strong bond, and I'm using the same example of mothers who've requested a mentor, a strong Black male, and the son tells the mentor things that he doesn't want to tell his mom that you believe the mom should know.
Yeah, it's always a touchy issue, which does come up quite a bit there as you are, these relationships are building there as well. And we do train our mentors on, reporting if a mentee were to disclose something that they need to be reported, that they're obligated to kind of do that there as well. We understand kind of the nuances when it comes to mentorships, and then there might be scenarios where a youth is maybe more comfortable sharing something with their big versus their parent there as well. And so, it's kind of all par for the course. We understand that. That's why it is important, and we actually build this into our program. Opportunity for the mentee and the guardian to kind of check in, to be able to talk, to share information. So we have our match support specialist there as well. And so, we do like to respect our youth privacy at times there, but we do talk to each other and make sure that everyone's on the same page there as well on that front there. And so it does happen, and our match support specialists are trained to kind of help our mentors kind of work through that process there, making sure that we keep our youth safe, but also making sure that the parents are always informed of what's going on.
Yeah, and to you, Cedric, because Kent made an important comment regarding reporting, where the health, safety, and welfare of the child is concerned. But I guess I'm talking about something that may not rise to that level, Cedric. I'm talking more about something that would be, just, if a guy who likes a girl in class and doesn't want to tell mom about the first crush, and you don't want to have mom feel as if she is not close to the child, and all of these are intimate family dynamics that can be a little tricky to navigate. So how do you continue to build trust about these intimate family dynamics without mom's feelings being hurt?
Yeah. To Kent's point, like it's very they encourage you to have those relationships with the family and stop by and visit and talk with the family. So throughout those processes, you kind of, are able to have those conversations with the mother, and the mother in my situation, they've always been like, hey, just look out for him, make sure he's on the right path. They're not so much hands off, but they're also trusting that you will do right by their son. So for me, it's been, I've been communicative with the mom where if it's something that detrimental, or if it's something that's, if I've had my mentee tell me that he has a girlfriend, and as long as it's like a school thing, or if it's like, if it goes beyond school, then it's something that I will bring up. But if he's just talking in conversation and just letting me know that's someone that he likes, and things of that nature, then I kind of just keep that between us. But once it, goes beyond that, there is a threshold that I would have the conversation with the mom about. So, but for the most part, just being in those rooms and having those conversations and having the relationship with the family, you kind of can pick up on those expectations. You can talk more casually and candidly, to where, the communication is passed on without having it to be like, oh, you told me or you shared something that I confided in you with.
Mm-hmm. Kent, Cedric mentioned this earlier when he was talking about his first introduction, and he mentioned background checks, and we do live in a security conscious world. And so what does that background check consist of? Because parents, whether they are mothers or fathers, whether the mentor is a man or a woman, everyone wants to make sure that the people that you are even temporarily turning your child over to in person or on the phone or electronically is safe.
Yeah, the number one thing, most important thing about our program is youth protection. The number second most important thing is youth protection, and third is youth protection. And so really that starts with our comprehensive background check. We do FBI fingerprinting. We also check references. And so it's a pretty extensive kind of process there to be able to get matched there. We also require trainings from our mentors, and also require trainings from the family and the parent or the guardian, so they know what to look for and to be able to really understand, this relationship they're about to enter into with that particular mentor as well. And so, we take it very, very seriously. Our background check is pretty intense, but it should be that way. We want to make sure that we are, providing quality adult mentors for our young people there as well. And so it's certainly a process. The fingerprinting takes some work. The background check takes some work there as well. But and then we ask our mentors to renew that regularly as well there. But it's to really ensure that everyone's being safe and that we're all on the same page and moving together on the same page as well.
Cedric, what do you believe is your responsibility in this position as a mentor? I know what big brothers and big sisters may require of you, but from your own thought process, what do you believe is your responsibility to your mentee?
It aligns with big brother, big sister, but also just again showing up consistently, listening, like active listening, making sure that I'm hearing, like, and that was something that I was also told from someone, is just like, I haven't talked to a 10-year-old since I was 10. So when I went into the program and got matched with the 10-year-old, I'm just like, I really don't know what conversations to have. And someone told me, they were just like, just listen. Like, they'll talk to you, they'll let you know what they, are interested in. They'll let you know what they want to talk about, what they're, things that they're dealing with. So being like actively listening and being present is extremely helpful. So, I take that as a responsibility to just, consistently show up. If I say I'm going to be there, for the entire time I've been a mentor, every time I said I was going to show up, I showed up. If they need me for anything, just again, showing up and just remaining consistent. So I think, like I said, just being an active listener and also showing up, a lot of the times it doesn't require a lot. So, those are the two main things that I think, I should be responsible for.
When you often talk about showing up, and I know Kent said 4 to 8 hours a month, which, as we know, in any kind of relationship, that doesn't seem like a lot of time. Certainly that's a minimum. But, what other kinds of responsibilities might you have? Because I would imagine in being a mentor, at some point, that child may need more than your time. They may need money. They may need you to show up with, if they get in trouble at school, or because it's, and not to belittle this at all, Cedric, but it's, being a mentor is more than playing basketball, I'm sure you know. And so is there a ceiling for you in your responsibility to the child?
Yes. And I will let Kent speak to the financial side of it, but for the most part, basketball is just a tool. It's a vehicle to get you to, the message. So it has been times where my mentee has gotten into, maybe a scuffle at school, or maybe having challenges with his homework or something like that. And a lot of the time taking a break to go play basketball, having those conversations of like, hey, how could we have diffused this situation, and talking through those situations. So in those cases, I think for the most part, that has been, basketball has been a vehicle for us to, get to the root of those issues. Still showing up for like homework, I'll, share a story. But one time I went to help my mentee with his homework, and I had no idea what it was. So I'm like sneaking, taking pictures and texting it to my wife, and she like, she's telling me the answers. So, but it's those types of things where, it's helping wherever you can help, even if it is just a conversation, or if it's homework, or I taught him how to play chess, and that's a process of thinking logically, and not trying, having patience, and not immediately wanting to just thinking through his next steps. So applying that to real life. So things like that. While it may come off, or may seem as hey, I'm just going to pick him up and play basketball. It's a lot that comes from those conversations, and that trust that Kent referred to. That's a lot of that trust is developed in those spaces as well.
Yeah, yeah. You brought up your wife again. Sounds like you have a winner, especially if she can figure out the stuff that you can't. So definitely hold on to that lady.
Absolutely.
But Ken, to the question that I was asking, Cedric, is there a ceiling of responsibility?
Yeah, so there are things that we ask our mentors not to do as it relates to kind of financials. There's as well, but we all understand that some of the things that they're going to be doing cost money, right? Going out to eat, right? Traveling, and so as an agency, we try our best to subsidize those costs when we can. We try our best to put on free events and partnering with great organizations that provide free tickets to us for ball games or discounted opportunities to attend certain events there as well. We also are working to kind of help alleviate some transportation costs with a couple of potential sponsors there. And so, we try our best to support our matches, knowing that, for us, our programs happen in the community. We don't actually have a facility where we're doing all of our programming there. And so just the nature of kind of what we do, there's going to be some costs associated with that. And we try our best to subsidize those and mitigate those when we can, to make sure that, our matches can participate free of charge if they so choose to do that there as well. They may choose to do something that may cost, and that's between the match and the family that they want to go ahead and do that. We do have resources available to support them on that. But as it relates to the financial cost, that's one piece there. But I think what you're alluding to, there's some things that a child may need, right? They may be in crisis, right? They may be dealing with food insecurity, or sometimes we have youth in our program that are dealing with homelessness, and so we do have great community partners. We do a lot of referrals to do wraparound services there. And so if we ever hear of one of our youth going through a particular challenge, we do have resources and relationships available to assist when needed there. Unfortunately, that happens more often than we would like to see. And that wouldn't be responsible for us to lean on a mentor for some of those situations. That's kind of where we'll try to step in there as well and try to mitigate any challenges that we do see.
And I would imagine also, on one hand, the mentor knows the rules.
Yes.
But on the other hand, when you develop an affinity for the child and the child's family, and you want to, you have to make, a decision sometimes to be genuinely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that that can be a struggle, and maybe a wonderful struggle when that you can make a difference. I mean, $100 worth of whatever may be required may not be a big thing for somebody with a jobby job, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But for a family that is in crisis, or a young person, it could be life changing. And so it's good to know that you do have the foundation in place, as well as sponsors that can help support the mentors and the mentees. It is a complex thing, but obviously something that has been happening for the past 76 years, even as the world has changed. So I want to congratulate you on this 76 years, and hoping for another 76 years. So thank you all so very, very much. Ken, Cedric, I really appreciate it. Sure thing. That is the Daily Drum for this Tuesday, September 23rd. I'm Harold Fisher. Good night.